guy, Chris Koofman. You guys maybe have not heard of him. He used to be an NFL
I guarantee
Network
you
guy.
I've never heard of a guy whose last name is Koofman.
CK Parrott on Twitter. He's actually he's a great NFL follow. And he just –
Is it Kaufman and you're just saying Koofman?
Kouffman.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. Chris Koofman sounds like somebody who would star alongside Emily Willis.
It's just like that margarita story from earlier in the week. You know, sometimes you just got to coof it. The NFL Sunday ticket ruling that happened on June 27th, right? So you have the NFL Sunday ticket, and the NFL is now going to have to come out of pocket
$4 billion.
$4 billion.
No, I thought it was tripled.
Or yeah, it's triple because it's an antitrust.
Yeah,
$12 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I had Sunday ticket for like a year, so I'm going to get some money. Sean's had it every year, so Sean's probably going to make $1 million off this.
I hope so. I hope he does. Then he'll be taking forever paternity leave after that, I would imagine.
Sean will make $1 million off this, and then what? He'll only have probably 20 years left on his house payment after he drops that $1 million on it.
The ramifications, though, of this could bring salary caps down. Like, the NFL's not just losing $12 billion and still conducting business as usual. We've seen the way COVID happens, we're losing money. Okay, then everybody's losing money. We're not just going to lose money at the top and everybody continues to eat the same way. And so now you're wondering, okay, with salary caps coming down, these big money quarterback contracts, Dak, is the NFL now going to have to switch up a little bit, like the ramifications of dollars not coming in the same way? Now, oh no, we're salary caps down, quarterbacks can't get paid as much. So Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff and some of these quarterbacks that just got the bag, they got in at the nick of time before this ruling came down. If you're a Dak Prescott, if you're a Tua, or maybe I guess a Brock Purdy, are you now late to the party and you just drew the bad luck straw with the timing of it, because for the next couple of years the dollar amounts might change.
What if Jerry knew all along that they were going to lose this thing, and that's what he was waiting for with all these signings? Because he knows it's not the dollar amount; it's the agents have been saying percentage of the cap,
Cap's
not
going
dollar
down.
amount. And if the cap stays stagnant or goes down, it doesn't go up. Could we at that point defend him and justify his course of action?
That's a good question. Let me see here. So I'm curious, how much revenue did the NFL lose during COVID? Because that'll tell you NFL teams lost almost $4 billion in revenue due to coronavirus pandemic, according to CBS News. So, I don't know if that's a legit $12 billion.
That's triple the pandemic.
But also, how does that have to be paid out? How does it? Because the pandemic, they lose that immediately. It's just gone. It's not in their coffers anymore.
Does the NFL? I mean, I'm an idiot. Is that insured?
Very possibly.
I have no idea. Right? Are they protected against legal fights? I don't know how that works. And then, of course, do they have to pay it off all at once in a lump sum, or is it installments over years? Because if they got to pay $12 billion out at once, we're going to see a $70 million cap for 1 year.
I mean, it'll be tight for a year,
or a couple years.
No, because generally, we had the first year after COVID was tight, and then you saw a huge jump almost made up for it, and then by the next year it was caught up.
Right.
And
but
so
if this is Jerry's chestnut checker situation, that would be pretty incredible.
I think it's much more likely that it's instead just a. I think it's much more likely that it's an attempt to be the alpha in the negotiation instead, and this just coincided with it.
Yeah, maybe he just got lucky.
Look, I think honestly, this has been I think this is the Cowboys looking at it, and it's the Cowboys have a history of trying to try and exert their power in negotiations, and I think that there's a decent chance that they approach some of these contracts and they're like, "We'll make you wait. You know, we can sweat this out. We'll play this game of chicken with you." I think that's much more likely than they know the cap could potentially go down with a lawsuit, because the NFL doesn't lose in court. The NFL doesn't take L's in court. They just don't.
And they're about to.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but, I mean, they typically don't.
There's L's in the chat today, Bob.
L's in the chat for sure.
All right, we're live at Glen Heights Firehouse, and Choppy's got some
spinning
NFL
on it, Brody.
Overreactions.
Absolutely doing tricks on it.
Overreaction or not, this is from Dan Graziano. Dak Prescott will sign with a different team next spring.
Ooh, this is you said Broadus has gotten to the point where he's actually thinking this is the likeliest scenario, right?
Yeah, in fact, it was perfect timing because yesterday they were talking about this. I think Wolchuk was doing a little NFL true or fart with the guys, and Broadus was saying, and you can actually go to the 105.3 the fan Twitter account and Instagram account to see the clip
after the show
of Broadus saying that he's fully on board now, believing that Dak is playing his last season as a Cowboy. So Broadus is convinced.
I'm saying it's in terms of so the way when you run NFL overreactions, because these are Dan Graziano's obviously, when you run NFL overreactions, you're saying it's not necessarily that you agree with it, but it's not an overreaction. It's worthy of discussion and debate, right? Like that's typically how we handle your NFL overreaction question. So if I'm handling it similarly to that, I'm not saying it's a slam dunk that Dak's gone, but it's definitely not an overreaction. It is within the realm of reasonable discussion and debate that he could not be here. So I don't think that's an overreaction.
No, he's going into a walk year, and there is no indication that he's going to sign before the end of training camp.
Yes, we don't have anything definitive other than what we talked about earlier this week, and it's not definitive. It's just you could potentially read into it that they seem a little more he seemed a little more optimistic just in his tone the other day when talking at that camp than he did a month ago. And he acknowledged there were actual discussions this time. So that's the only thing trending that direction that would be a positive if you want Dak back. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would say that's a negative. But in general, I don't think it's an overreaction at all that he could be here. Where did they fall down on it?
Same thing, not an overreaction. I'm not saying that that's the prediction, but it's the most likely outcome is that Dak and the Cowboys find a way to get the deal done before he becomes a free agent. They could even get one done before the start of the season, for all we know. But if they don't finalize something before or during the year, I think it would be a massive mistake to rule out this possibility.
1 year from today, who were we previewing as the starting quarterback at camp?
Here's why we don't know, because Jerry.
But that's the point, is that you don't know, and I'm asking you to make a projection.
Jerry trades the 4th-round pick to get the guy to replace Dak here in a couple of years, except his contract expires at the exact same time that Dak's does.
As does Cooper Rush.
Trey Lance is not even under contract for next year. Not. So I don't know. How much do you have to pay Trey Lance to keep him here to be your starter if that's what you want, or you just go name that random veteran quarterback who's available, bridge quarterback style, you suck next season, and then you come back picking in the top 5 and you draft a quarterback
this
in the future.
This is going to be like Sam Darnold is starting for the
As
Cowboys
the kids
a year
say.
from now.
There you go. People are putting money on him to be the MVP.
How about this?
Cody, nobody else.
This is another quarterback overreaction. Kirk Cousins will be one and done in Atlanta.
Yes. That I don't think is an overreaction just because of the Penix trade and the way the contract structure is. I'm not saying that's definitely – there's no way he lasts more than 2 years there.
Okay, well, let's say he's one and done, and there's your quarterback. I mean, if Jerry didn't want to go down to the rabbit hole of tanking.
I mean, Sean would say that's the same quarterback.
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man meme.
Spider-Man.
It's pretty similar.
I think Kirk's an underrated player.
I do too, but I think Dak is.
I think Dak's better. I think he's definitely better.
I think Dak is better. But I think
Kirk might be a better
tier.
thrower of the football, just a pure thrower. But it's not like Dak is bad, and it's not like the gap is wide enough to discount Dak's just superior athleticism and ability to avoid pressure.
Let's say you get to the offseason and Dak is out of contract, Lance is out of contract. Cousins is free, and then let's say Miami doesn't work things out with Tua. Like, where would if you had those 4 options out of you, retain Dak at a high number, retain Lance at a moderate number, or go play in the waters of a Tua or a Cousins, where would you go? Knowing that Tua and Cousins would be cheaper than Dak, more expensive than Lance.
Right, but define cheaper than Dak. Like, if Dak is going to get $60 million in the open market,
then 50 to 55.
Yeah, there's no difference.
I'm out on that. I'd rather pay minimal dollars to Trey Lance.
What do you think about Tua?
I think Tua is he's just okay. He's in an offense right now that is perfect for him, but he's still not a guy that can really win with his arm in a big boy situation. Put him in a cold weather situation, put him against a legit playoff type defense, and force him to throw outside the numbers, and he can't do it. He just simply can't do it. Their entire offense is throwing to the middle of the field. And shout out to Mike McDaniel for putting something together like that where the defense knows he can only throw in the middle of the field. Tua cannot throw outside the numbers. He physically cannot do it. And so ultimately that limits you in a huge way. And again, I think you're seeing the best of Tua right now because of the offense with the weapons and the scheme that he's got. Put him somewhere else, I think you're in a world of trouble. I'm not paying him.
Look at the NFL knowledge on this guy.
I love him.
I'm not paying him.
I love Tua. I wouldn't pay him $60 million. I think he's low. I think to me that's the perfect
bus driver.
No, I think he's way more than that.
Okay.
Because the problem that I think NFL fans have with Tua is that they get wrapped up in arm strength. Where, to me, the most valuable trait a quarterback can have is how on time with your throws are you. And he is easily top 3 on-time quarterback in the league.
Correct.
Easily. But that's the most important trait a quarterback can have.
But you better have some level of, the play's broken down now.
That's the
Can
problem.
I do something? He's got none of that.
That's the problem with Tua. That's the problem with, I think, Purdy to an extent, and Goff.
I think Purdy sees things so much faster than Tua does.
Man, I don't know. Tua's throwing the ball.
Tua's accurate, but I think Purdy sees the game quicker.
Ooh, that's I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, they're both.
I think those three are Tua, Purdy, and Goff. All are very similar. They're all very on time, which I think is the most important trait a quarterback can have.
Well, and I think they all need their hand held by their play caller. And
I don't think they need their hand held. I don't think they need a handheld at all.
Who all?
Tua, Goff, and Purdy.
Oh, okay, those 3.
I don't think they need their handheld. I don't.
I think Goff has shown he doesn't. Goff got away from McVay, and I think showed.
Well, he's got Ben Johnson, who might be the best offensive mind in football outside of.
Are these guys the best offensive mind, or is Sean McVay a good offensive mind because he had Goff and he had 2 number 1 overall picks? And is Ben Johnson really that good because he has Jared Goff? I mean, I don't know. It's chicken.
No,
or the
egg. I do think Ben Johnson's a good coordinator, but I don't think you can just. I don't think we can continuously just write off things that Jared Goff does, who was a number 1 pick. I don't think we continuously write it off as just like he can't do it.
But they all. I don't think any 3 of those have the ability to laser rocket arm one outside the numbers 25 yards on the field.
Goff has the
and I want
strongest
that.
arm of those, though.
Yes,
By
I think he
far.
does. Yeah, he does, and he's really good down the middle, over the middle, downfield. He's really good there.
Still not.
He's
as
not
good as
great
Dak,
outside
but,
the numbers,
yeah.
huh?
Still not as good as Dak, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. Put Dak ahead of him. I mean, I think they're. My chair just dropped.
You just got hydraulic.
I had one of those things where you just drop it.
Imagine how hard it would have fallen pre-soda.
I know, right?